And it says we're live, so let's assume that that is all correct. Ignoring the speed racers outside. Hi everybody, welcome to another Wednesday Paint and Chat. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic week so far. I've got my wonderful friend Flo, aka ThePainterFlo. Yes.
I am here.
She's here, and she's painting, and so we've got the screen camera kind of focused on, well, what should be her model. And so you're working on the Rattler, the Grymkin model, which is great because a new Grymkin model did recently release, as many of you know. The Slaughterhouse is now out, so we can chat a little bit about that while she works away in painting stuff. I have not decided what I'm working on. I have 3 different potential projects in front of me. I was either thinking of assembling this duder, the McBain or Drake the Kilt Lifter, who I feel is probably on a lot of ban lists, or another secret project I've got for my friend Paul, or just randomly painting my unicorn. I'm not actually sure yet. So, we'll see. Anyway, what are you guys all up to in the chat? Hi, Mr. Pilot, welcome. And Austin, I appreciate you being here too. Good to see you, Mac Attack. Paul, thank you as always for being my wonderful moderator, paying attention to when the chat goes a little crazy. Oh, Alfonso, good to see you. Hey there, Todd. And Arthur Bugorski? Is the paint and chat where there's painting in progress? Well, I mean, not by me, so I feel like we get into a loophole there. I might paint. I don't know. I do paint usually a little bit. I've gotten pretty decent at it over the last year, to be honest. So.
Well, you've kind of forced yourself to work at it.
Well, yes. It was the only alternative to conquering my enemies.
Which is hard to do when you can't be in the same area as your enemies.
I know, it's so difficult, and I'm just not willing to use War Table. Anywho, Flo, how have you been handling the last year? It's not like you've stopped painting.
Shh. No, I actually did stop painting for a little bit, but I kept it up more than I expected to.
Yeah. And you got like a recent batch of miniatures in, right?
Yes, I sent for and kickstarted the 2nd edition of Zombicide. So I got that complete bundle in, plus an extra set of the Daily Zombies and the Danny Trejo and the special Urban Legend Abominations. So lots of things that I'm getting ready to work on. They're not primed yet, which is why they're not here.
Just in big batches. How are you planning to prime them? Just rattle can it?
Yeah. And I've got, for Zombicide I use white because brighter colors stand out more on
more poppy. I always felt the Zombicide characters always had more of a, I mean, they're like comic book characters,
yes.
Right? So you want that really poppy color. They don't need to look all dirty and gritty like I make all my dudes look.
I mean, they can.
Well, I mean, it would just depend on if that was their character, right?
How many zombies they killed, maybe?
Or how many, I mean, Danny Trejo, I figured is just going to be just, you're going to
we'll
paint them all beautifully,
red.
and then you just splatter. Just take that, what is it, the toothbrush where you flick it? Yeah, there you go. Paul says, Danny Trejo is always a win. So what have we got going on tonight? Austin said, I'm working on a kobold monk and a dwarf tank. Nice. Todd, tonight I'm finishing off batch painting my Hollow Men, hopefully. Ooh, well, you painted all my Hollow Men.
Yes.
It's very cool.
I think I did them in like 2 weeks.
You're
like your
fast.
entire box set.
I wonder if it's from your computer sound.
Oh no, is my computer whining? Are you guys hearing a whine in the chat?
Like a high-pitched sound?
A little bit of a nuisance noise. Apologize, I didn't restart my computer before the chat. Austin, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. Is that actually his quote? Because it's like, I thought there was more to it than that, but I haven't actually specifically read Sun Tzu. Hey Kristen, good to see you. So yeah, what else have we got going on here? So yeah, so you're painting the Rattler, older model of Grymkin model. But
yes, that I had started in a previous paint and chat and never finished.
Well, you know, we get around to these things. It's fine. Also, I was a little disappointed because I went to the Privateer Press card database today, because everywhere I was seeing on social media said that the slaughterhouse is out, and so I was like, I want to see the card, and it's not there. And I haven't checked my tablet because it's very old and slow, and I haven't checked it to see if it's updated, but it's not in the card database. So I don't know what to talk about as far as that goes. Hey Siobhan, good to see you. Yes, I think anybody in my Peyton chat is well aware by this point that in 1998, The Undertaker threw Mankind off Hell in a Cell into the Spanish announcer table. Did you ever watch WWF wrestling?
No, but I've heard this story.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone to Valhalla.
Must have repositioned the mic for your guests. Maybe so,
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
I can round it to be a little more catching everything instead of just cardioid. Let me know if that's a little better. Trying to. Oh, I can also boost it a bit here. But yes, it is boosted for both of us, even though we're kind of in this tight space. I was hoping that the mic would kind of pick it up all right, so tweak it. Card was on one of the articles about it. Well, I don't have the article. I guess I can go look it up. Let's see, Magdac, just watching your paint and chat, although I did finish 3D resin painting a forest dragon for my wife's wood elf army.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Was that like something off
Dragons.
Thingiverse, or was that a model you purchased? That's a lie. I don't recall telling that story to anyone at Valhalla. Whatever! I'm reasonably sure you did. Mostly, I don't know. Anyway, yes. I'm also kind of resisting the urge to log into WoW because the Burning Crusade just dropped and I had the chance to clone my character where my wonderful warrior heroine will be able to enjoy retirement on a classic server with some of the best gear and weapons in the entire game. So, you know, I'm kind of looking forward to that. Let's see, Project Press, Slaughterhouse. Show me the Slaughterhouse! Grymkin, Gargantuan, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Anyway, yes. So, Flo's gonna be the one mostly showing off what she's doing. I may or may not show a little bit of me assembling little Kilt Lifter because he is obviously just in little bits and pieces. And he is not.
That's not a little bit.
Here's all his little bits and pieces. I had to wash him ahead of time because you should always wash your models before assembling them because you just don't know what's on them. And they're going to need glue. And glue will find out what's on them. A bit better. Okay, good. Pop question for everyone. Blue, green, or red kobold? I mean, they're dragons, so I'm inclined to think green, but, you know, red is always a great color. The return of the shared painting experience. Ah, I know. It is delightful. Draw of WoW unrelenting. I know, but Paul, I'm not going to actually, I'm in reading retirement. I don't think I can, I realized that since, and this is going to be a side note on WoW, but since Naxxramas dropped at the beginning of December, I never missed a raid night. Not one. Which I think was between 22 and 24 weeks in that dungeon. And I still didn't get everything. The WoW raiding experience is terrible. I love my friends. I love my guild. The experience of raiding is terrible. And I hate it. And I don't want to do it anymore. So, WoW retirement.
So I'm stealing you. So I'm stealing you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
At least sometimes.
wins. Well, yeah, I mean, it was also 2 nights a week. It was becoming very intense, and, you know, we all know that I have way too much on my plate. Oh, we should talk about one of the things that generally gets mentioned in my paint and chat by people who have more painting experience and decorum than I do.
Oh.
It's the idea of a wet palette.
Oh, yes.
And so Flo shows up and she's like, oh, she just starts working away. She's picking her colors and just doing her thing. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's a wet palette. Look at that thing. So can I see it? If I turn it, is water going to fall out? No. No, okay. So, ta-da! It's a pretty decent sized little wet palette. What is that? 8 by 10, maybe. A little less than that.
Less, yeah.
It's like a 5 by 7, probably. But either way, nice little wet palette with a little spongy surface. And you said that this has been keeping your paints wet for like how long?
Well, no, I've been using the same wet palette for like a month.
A month. Without having to refill it?
Without having to refill it.
So there you go. For you wet palette fans. What brand was that? It was this one. So there you go. If you guys
You're like, here, look at this white thing.
Yeah, look at this white on white. It's doing great. It says Masterson's Stay Wet Handy Palette. Or if you want to make fun of it, Star Wet. Star Wet. But either way, it's like less than $20. So if you're a fan of doing the wet palette thing, I know there's lots of kits for making yourself. I tried making one myself once, and
I don't think
I
that
don't know,
went
for
very well.
$20 it feels
fine.
like this like is nice and just designed well, I guess. If you're into that sort of thing.
Well, I know a lot of painters.
State, so it's not like a joke that was staying so well.
A lot of people who do painting have actually done like well, they test out a bunch of different wet palettes and they decide which ones are better for the price.
Oh.
And this one tends to be pretty good, so.
Nice. So that sounds pretty good then. So anyway, for those of you, oh, there it is. There's the Slaughterhouse card. Now we can chat about it. The forest dragon looks kind of like a treant. It's incredibly cool, and my wife wants to paint it up to match her fall colors. Oh, remember when you painted up my witchwood? I loved that color scheme, all those warm colors.
And some of my favorite colors. Like, definitely my favorite time of year color-wise.
Most definitely.
Well, and holiday-wise, you know.
Oh, there you go. Dave Dog knows what's going on. That's a handy stay palette. I got 4 of them, so.
Bam.
Bam indeed. Paul, my wet palette is about an A5 size Tupperware box with the stuff in the bottom. Gets rarely used these days. Christian Masterson, yep, recognized it right off. The only thing about those is the sponge often gets moldy. Gross.
I've not had that issue.
No.
But we also live in a very dry
Arid environment. Fall colors forest dragon. Sounds dope. I agree. Agreed. Sponge dye is relatively easy. I wonder if it is more a matter of where you live. Plus, you could probably treat that. Like, I don't know if there's just like those shower sprays that you have to kind of kill off mildew and mold. If you were to just spray the bottom of it with that, not where the paint is touching, but just the other side of it.
Maybe.
Or mix even some bleach with the water you're putting in there. Assuming you're not licking your brush, because that's irresponsible.
I do not lick my brush.
Sorry. Anyway. Hey Travis, how's it going? Let's see, but you can try and counteract that with some products or even pennies. Oh, okay, so just the copper of the penny causes that? Well, that makes sense. Copper is an antibacterial, antiviral material, which is why it's the best plumbing to have. Agreed, sponge eyes. I think I mentioned before, but there was a streamer from Portland painting minis with a wet sock as a palette. Now that's what you call improvisation. Most
Just a bit.
I'm impressed. I mean, I guess whatever works,
I
right?
never would have thought of that.
You keep disappearing, Flo.
Sorry, turning to grab some paint. I gotta turn to grab paint.
I don't know. 47 asked me in the morning how I felt at night, and I can probably tell you. I use Winsor Newton water oil paints. Oh yeah, David asked, and I don't know if you've ever messed with it, Flo. Have you ever tried painting a miniature with oil paints?
No.
Seems like it would take forever to dry.
Well, oil paints, yes, they take a lot longer to dry. I'm not as good with oil paints in general, though.
So she's also a canvas painter, so.
Yeah. I've always used acrylics from when I was a little kid, so acrylics I'm more comfortable with for sure.
Like you didn't even use watercolors a lot as a kid? It was mostly acrylics?
It was acrylics. Because I used to paint ceramics and stuff with my family.
Ah, yes. Such a very common, like, what, 90s, probably 80s kid too, hobby.
Well, my mom and my grandmother were both very much into it, and so I would do that with them. I think I still have like these little tiny angels that I painted that are little ornaments.
Aww.
They're so kid painted, but it's great.
There's a certain charm. Well, obviously the nostalgia to it too.
Oh, I've got all the mice my mom painted. They were all Christmas mice, and those are all really cute.
Magtax says I use Winsor Newton water oil paints. Still water-based, but has a much longer work time without having to use white spirits. Siobhan, I'm currently working on Primaris Tech Marine. I'm going to utilize all the tentacles to make it an NSFW as possible. I would expect no less, Siobhan. Christian, yeah, exactly. Like tile X in the bottom. There you go. Yeah, we're thinking on the same level there. Paul, well, wet palette rarely uses. I've got a good technique of direct from the pot. Yeah.
It took me a long time to break that, actually. I always went
Is it
direct from the
actually
pot. But
so bad a habit? I mean, I guess yes.
I mean, it doesn't really work when you're working with Vallejo.
Oh, yeah.
And it can kind of be a pain with Citadel also.
Yeah, I can't say I'm super in love with that. Even the P3 paints are a little difficult to paint out of the lid. But I do it anyway. Paul also says he likes his brush.
Much easier for you, Miranda, when you use like the apple barrel stuff.
Oh, I know. It's so perfect. I mean, look at that. This is basically an entire bucket for holding your paint. It's so perfect. Like, how do you go wrong? And if it dries up, then go spend 50 cents and get another one. It's great. Hey, Brian, how's it going? Wow, I haven't seen you in a minute. Hope you're doing all right. Oh, hi, Mark. Dude, have you watched any of the Neil Breen movies? If you want some really entertaining cinema, go look up Neil Breen. He is now something you can download on Amazon, and it's just, you know...
Is it still pretty expensive for him though?
No, you're not. You don't have to pay
$35 for it or whatever.
Yeah, so if you buy direct from him, it's like $35, and you get like a burned DVD in like 6 to 8 weeks. It's amazing, and obviously works well for him. But no, you can stream on Amazon. I want to say it's like $12, something like that. Which is, you know, you have to own it technically, but
That's
I mean, I'm sure he's still
it's
making a killing on it. So
working on the back.
yes. Kenneth, Miranda, Queen of Kador. Well, Diana is the Queen of Kador, but I haven't caught up on the story still. I know. I'm terrible at it. Actually, my homework this week has been to catch up on 40K stuff happening, which I will start doing tomorrow, because I have to budget all of my time. All of it.
Miranda, you're halfway through the week already.
Yes. Yes, it should be amazing. I bet. Yeah, no, that model sounds super cool. Dave, just watching James Wapple on YouTube. His recent videos where he uses oils with what he calls his pre-glaze. He will faint at the speed and quality of the results. No, James Wapple does not mess around. He's an amazing painter. I actually did that stream painting a ceramic Wolverine money box from a place in Albuquerque. Oh yeah, I kind of remember that.
Is that from Art Attack?
Maybe. I don't know where she was, but
Probably Art Attack though, because that's the main one.
Timothy Alarcon, what's on the table? Progress check, Flo. Let's show off our little Rattler. Older model from the Grymkin series.
I'm working on his back right now, so
of War Machine.
I can't see him.
But I have a pretty much fully painted War Machine army. I'm sorry, a fully painted Grymkin army.
You're welcome.
Which is my horizontal. Yes. Which Flo did basically the entirety of.
Not the whole thing.
Not all of it. I did paint my Murder Crows, and I've been working on my Nayslayers and my sweet rocking Horse of Doom. But for the most part, like, she definitely has done that. So she started on the Rattler, and has, you know, then it got put up like a year ago or more. But he's super cool. He's all super fat, relatively fast for a war beast, speed 6. And then he's got, you know, some fun little animus and things like that. So just filling out my army, getting more of the war beasts. Still need to get more warlocks, but whatever.
Did you ever open up that one that I bought you? That was like for...
Oh, Carry On a Rose. No, I still have her downstairs. I need to get her assembled. But she's like a useful character. I just haven't had a reason to like put her in a list right now.
All good. I just dropped my paper towel. I came across her on clearance, and I was like, dude, I'll buy her for like $5. Why not?
See, Dave, Dog James is a great painter, no doubt about it. My glazing is done via airbrush with zenithal highlighting. Brian, I need your green ketchup. Yes, you do. It's so good. So good. His newest one, I think, is Twisted Pear, which is probably the most coherent of them, which makes it a little bit less entertaining, but it's still pretty good. Oh, is there a place I can go where I can see the movie you were in? The movie I was in? Do you mean like the short film? Because if you're talking about the short film, then...
YouTube.
Yes? Where is it? It's the film racing website, and I believe on YouTube it's also film racing, so hold up. I should just share it. I meant to share it on Twitter when it came out, and then I got distracted.
And then you forgot Twitter was a thing.
I know. I never use Twitter unless I'm like, kind of looking up specific things.
Yeah, I never use Twitter. I don't remember my Twitter login anymore.
Let's see. There it is. Waiting for Yidra. Alright, I'm gonna see if it should let me share it to the screen. So hang on. Share, copy, paste. This is the short film I was in. And did all the costuming for, mind you. Which I won an award for. Best costume design. Dave, his pre-glaze with oil paint skips the need for zenithal highlighting. He just slaps the oil paint on and cleans up with ladies' makeup sponges. There are so many techniques to painting, and I know that I do it in like probably the slowest possible way until I pawn it off on Flo, and it's just...
And I still do it the slowest possible way. I just, do it faster than she does.
There's lots of room for improvement, let's say.
Well, because I do not own an airbrush. I've never airbrushed.
We're gonna have to fix that.
Do we?
We should have a whole thing. Really? Get you an airbrush, and then, we watch you learn how to use it. I don't know.
That might not be safe for children, though. That will be a swearing-filled video, I'm sure.
It's okay. I know how to edit sound. Did you buy the Slaughterhouse? No, not yet. It just came out, and then I haven't been online to do anything. So
it just came out, and then we have work lives.
Too much going on. I did finally get one huge stressor out of my life on Tuesday, and now
which we need to celebrate on Friday.
Yes, so that'll be done. The Rattler's bad touched me before. Well, let's see. Berserk, that's pretty good. Overtake, pretty good. Does he have reach? Does he have reach? He's only a range 1 model. But, I mean, yeah, I guess he can be pretty scary. He possesses 13, 2 attacks, plus overtake, plus being able to put up to 3 Fury on. Yeah, he's not bad. I don't think he's bad. I don't know. I haven't actually played with him before. I just wanted to get him painted up because he's one of those really cool looking, sinister models.
My favorite to paint.
Excellent, Siobhan. Let's see. Oh yeah, poor Paul was dealing with horrible warehouse issues, I guess, at GW. His order got canceled after 6 weeks? Yeah, 6 weeks. Ugh, that's no fun. Miranda, what do you think of the new Grymkin house character? You mean the Slaughterhouse? Well, let's take a moment to chat about him. What about the last days of Desiree or Immersion? Oh my goodness, I don't even remember. I have half of the movie of Desiree, so I never actually fully saw it. And then, I don't know what Immersion is. I'm assuming that's maybe one of the newer ones from Joe Ryan. So, Eel Slaughterhouse. Armor class. Wait a minute. I should be looking at the card, not the Requiem information. Teehee. So, what have we got here? speed 5, so it's a moving house. Does it not place? Is that not a thing? Undergrowth. Ooh. Pull. Love that. And drag. Oh my gosh. Alright. We gotta go over this slowly. Because it's a gargantuan, so it's a moving house in the middle of the street.
I'm just jumping to the cop and invaders, and I've heard of mobile homes, but this is ridiculous.
I know. This would be a frightening one. So strength 14, pretty mean. Mat 6, average, but you can put fury on it, so that's really pretty good. Rat 5, so it has the ranged attack is called Porch Light. Excellent. And it hits you with the front door. 1/2-inch range on the front door? What? Why? Oh, right, because its limbs are what have the reach. So it hits you with limb, and the front door. Excellent. Magical weapons. People assess 19 on the 2 weapons. 21 on the front door? Why does it hit so hard? What's going on?
Because it's basically like the front of the house bursting into you?
No, I think it's just the front door thwapping open. It's just got really powerful hinges, obviously.
Okay.
Hey, Patty. Let's see here. So its animus is undergrowth, while within 5 inches of the spellcaster. Enemy models treat open terrain as rough terrain and suffer -2 defense. Undergrowth lasts for 1 round. So you've got the 5-inch model plus 5 inches everywhere around it, and it only affects enemy models, which is important, unlike stupid King of Nothing jerk face. So, and -2 defense. So that's really helpful, actually, because so many of the Grymkin models, like, well, heck, the Hollow Men, but also the pumpkin heads, the dreadrots, being only like a relatively low mat skill, that definitely helps them a lot. Also, even just the general war beast being able to get in there and do more damage. So there's a lot of synergy there. And it costs 2, and it's cast on the self, which means that the warlock can actually do that on themselves as well. So that's pretty nice. Cram inside. When an enemy model is destroyed or removed from play within 2 inches of this model can immediately move D3 points. Oh, remove D3 damage points. Additionally, during its activation, this model can spend corpse tokens on friendly faction models within 2 inches of it to remove D3 damage points for each token spent. Holy. Wow. And that's so powerful for something like Hordes, where you just need to get one aspect up by one little thing. It's so good. Escapees. When this model is destroyed by an enemy attack, collateral damage, or a continuous effect, you can replace it with a Gremlin Swarm solo. This model is then removed from play. Wow, because they're what's like running around in the house. Appreciate that. Let's see. So Porch Light has the drag ability. So if it hits an equal or smaller base, which is going to be pretty much everything, the model is pushed directly toward this model until it contacts it, which now it's within 2 inches. Or 5 inches, I should say. It's -2 defense, an obstacle or obstruction, damage is removed, blah, 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 blah. Wow. And then you can take a bunch of attacks. You hit it with the Porch Light, and then you swap it with its tree limbs, which also have a pull ability. Goodness gracious. This is incredible, guys. And then it's got all the normal gargantuan attacks. And then that Porch Light has a range 12 on it. Yeah, that's going to be a popular model. Is it already back-ordered? Oh, goodness gracious. I'm glad you removed that stressor from your life. Yeah, me too. Sort of sad, but it had to be done. Warhammer World Warehouse is only 160 miles away. It would have been faster to pick it up. Well, I think they just couldn't find it, right, Paul? Like, you would have gotten there and they're like, we don't even know this model exists. We were just printing money and selling models that we had no intention of fulfilling, I guess. Todd, it's got a bunch of undead hands on the bottom of the house that drag it along. That makes sense. In a Grymkin way. How long have we been going? About half an hour, Patty. It's the young Frankenstein knockers. Hey, Andrew, welcome. Won't stay for long, just giving my hello. Well, it's good to see you. We were just chatting about the Slaughterhouse, which I'm excited to see has finally released. It wants to eat you, and it won't stop. Wait, I was talking about the film that you did with Wargamer Dave. I did a few short films with Wargamer Dave. So there's one, a Blu-ray featurette for the Rangers Bloodstone, and then there's the Life of a Wargamer series, which would be found on the Mini Wargaming YouTube site. So I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but Dave and I have been in a few things together. It's been fun.
But usually he has control of where those are.
Well, yeah, because they're usually mini wargaming event things, or like nonsense we've shot at Valhalla. So. Kristen, oh yeah, I forgot to talk about what I was working on currently. I started a Primaris Chaplain and trying out blue as black armor. So very dark blue in place of black. Ooh, nice. Warmahorde's question for you, Miranda. Kador or Grymkin, easier to play at first learning to play the game? Well, Grymkin probably are not a great example of that, just because they're like, here's all the rules of the game, and then they play different, because the Animus ability really undermines that. However, between Hordes and War Machine, I would generally suggest people try Hordes first, because it's a lot more forgiving in the pre-planning stage. Kador is nice because it's a very traditionally structured army, and you can build really solid lists from it that do the things you expect them to do, because the hardest thing about War Machine is learning all of the silly stuff. And Kador just doesn't have a whole lot of it. There's things, yes, but you don't have to build an army around that. You can have a front toward enemy model. Crix is very similar to that too, of straightforward troops like the Winter Guard, like even Doom Reavers if you want to go melee heavy with it. Manowar. Ooh, he's looking good. Getting all the fleshy bits filled in. Ooh, it's just really good painting flesh. So I would suggest that. The only problem with Kador side is there's a million billion models in Kador, and so it can probably be kind of overwhelming, whereas Grymkin's really nice in that it is a limited selection. But I do think it would probably be harder to get into the game with and really be able to kind of get a sense of what everyone else's rules are, because that's always the hard part too. So probably lean toward Kador. You can do both, and it also honestly depends on your playstyle. And you know, for a brand new person, I would still suggest Hordes over War Machine, but whatever. No, I think it has a bunch of gremlins walking around it, like the Flintstones car. So you're really just seeing their feet underneath. Have you ever done the dark blue for black thing?
No.
No. Okay.
I mean, I use a really dark blue, but I've never done that in particular. I'll do like a dark gray.
The featurette. I don't know if the featurette is available just generally online. I think it's part of the DVD Blu-ray that Dave has out for the Rangers Bloodstone. But the name of the featurette is called The Rangers, I think, Ancient Order. So if you look that up, maybe it's online somewhere. But I don't know. Like, I have the Blu-ray because you sent it to me. So, well, and I backed the Kickstarter. So
you didn't really have a reason to look for it.
Exactly. I've never looked for it online. Any tips for painting black armor, says the Green Knight. Oh, that movie was fascinating. There's a new movie coming out called The Green Knight. Apparently it's already been out for like a year and a half, but it's finally hitting the United States. So, I'm excited. I'm gonna make a point to go see that. I've got a friend of mine who's really excited about it too, so I want to be able to chat with him about it. So.
I mean, it depends on if you're trying to do more of a matte black or if you're trying to do a shiny black.
So, how would you approach either one?
If I was doing more of a matte black, I would actually start with a really dark gray, so that way you can get those deeper shadows, and with either a black wash or just putting in some black here and there.
Gray, okay.
for a shiny one, your highlights, you want to start with the black, but your highlights are going to be a lot harder because of the light reflection. They don't go over as softly, in my opinion. So it's going to be reflecting a particular light from a source.
Do you still highlight something that's going to be very shiny, or do you just let the high points of the actual model due to the gloss be its own highlight?
I tend to highlight it anyways.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I mean, you can't guarantee that the gloss is going to get a good shine wherever you're playing it. So if you want it to stand out as shiny armor,
you've got to really put it there. Good point.
But you can have like really bright highlights. It's just that they're very small pinpoints and they have harder edges.
Gotcha. So you would prefer probably the matte just because it's a little more controllable?
I wouldn't say that.
No?
I mean, I usually use matte in everything I do because I don't have really shiny models. I don't have anything with armor. That's all DJs. And I am currently doing a forced metallic kind of look with blues with that.
For which army?
For Necrons. And that's by DJ's request. So I am figuring that out more and more as I go.
Nice. Apparently the blue for black requires many layers. Like a dozen layers, according to Christian. Saren, welcome. Long time no see. Who's the smart person in the background? Standing next to the glasses. That
Only for now.
That is my friend Flo, also known as ThePainterFlo, on what, Instagram mostly?
Yeah, Instagram. I have a Facebook page.
Anyway.
And I will have a Twitch channel starting up soon where I'm going to do live streams of Twitch.
Yes. Of painting. So I'm getting warmed up here.
Yes.
Yeah, so she painted all my Grymkin. She's painted lots of really pretty models and terrain. All sorts
I
of things.
painted all your Tyranids for Space Marine.
That's right, the Tyranids for Space Hulk. That was all you. Yeah, Flo does a really good job. She's also a lot faster than I am, so very helpful.
You wouldn't be able to tell by what I do here, but
It's always hard when you're bouncing around with a conversation, though, because like you're hanging out with friends and chatting. You can only, like, if you're just hanging out with other people because you're physically around each other, it doesn't seem quite as rude to have a few moments of just like
silence,
quietly painting, right? Where you work on something, and then after a while you'd be like, "Oh, check this out," or "Hey, what do you think of this?" But in this format, it's a little more like I feel compelled to keep chatting and yapping on.
well, I mean, it's a paint and chat, so
Yeah, I know. This is many I've joked about. I really just favor one. Right now it's an assembly and chat for me. I'm working on Yale, Drake, Kilt Lifter, McBain. So inappropriate. But I might as well get a food together. Hey, Adeptus Ridiculous. Good to see you. Okay, I will stop in for that then, Flo. I watch Twitch all the time. I'm even watching it right now. There you go. No, I've, because we were talking about that as far as, like, new communities, and I don't follow too much of, like, the, video gaming community as much, but Twitch, for the painting and the creative, seemed like it's a really nice community. Like, a lot of people on there are very nice and relaxed, and you don't get buried by algorithms as bad as you do in YouTube, on YouTube, and so it's just, seems like a nicer place to start for folks. Flo should rate my models. Well, she's actually an anime fan, Siobhan, so she probably, well, you've seen his models. So, yeah. Real talk. Kilts are super comfortable. I have one I wear casually. Well, then why is he lifting it? If it's so comfortable, he should be able to just...
maybe he just needs to piss all the time.
Well, I mean, it's an open thing. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's that.
I'm just throwing suggestions at you asked the question.
Austin. don't think my local meta will get hard with the slaughterhouse. Someone regularly brings axioms, and that drag gun is a bit scarier. Yeah, in general, I kind of dislike models that take agency away from other players, and so I've never been a fan of TK. Drag at least is a little bit more controllable, where TK is so brokenly overpowered. But we'll see. In general, I don't think Grymkin gets so much play anyway. Of course, people are going to be running around with Infernals, because they seem like the real scary ones. I think the only thing YouTube has over Twitch is the content creator split of revenue. Oh, like Twitch takes more of it. You know,
that's what Patreon is for.
Yeah, I was going to say that's certainly worth it if you could just see your audience. I mean, that YouTube does bury so many people is a little frustrating. It's really hard to feel like you can get ahead on that.
A little bit more of his back done. Keeps wanting to focus on my nails.
They are nice. You actually did your nails?
For the first time in like 5 years.
Christian, there are dozens of painters that are really great people out there and love to offer advice and help and are really fun to talk to. Yeah, no, anytime I've been on Twitch and I've looked at the creator side, like, they've been really nice. Like, it really is only, like, the video game world, and it's not even, like, all the content creators on there are toxic or anything like that. It's just, there are so many, and it does seem like the more boisterous personalities are what get to the top, and when you have thousands of people watching someone, you don't have that same interaction. Whereas on the creative side, it does seem like there's a lot of good interaction between the artist and the audience. It's really cool. Hello, you two. Hi, Adaptive. Let's see here. Saran, I have a reliable source that says that Vampire Masquerade 2 game will be delayed even further. That's frustrating as I'm a fan of the original. Vampire the Masquerade. I remember TV commercials for it. And
I've seen it, but I've never played it.
Same. Yeah. Although apparently it was like a super popular game for girls. So I've heard. But
I mean,
I don't know.
Name of it,
that.
kind of.
Yeah, vampires. What's with ladies and vampires? Come on, really? Let's see, Adeptus Ridiculous. 20-1. Yeah, I'm doing alright. Should be back to Kill Team tomorrow. Yay! Gaming next month, maybe July. That's really good. It's a Scottish thing. Lifting a kilt is the equivalent to a gesture people in the US use to punctuate statements. Oh, it's very rude. I'm a very rude character here. I was gonna say love the stream. Oh, wow, George Lucas is complimenting my channel. I'll take that. Thanks, George! I'll try to be through Facebook gaming soon. We'll see how that works out. Yeah. Twitch, I believe, splits its 70-30 Amazon to content creator. Well, I know for the actual subscription base, last I checked, unless they've changed it recently, it was a 50-50 split. So, I don't know. Is the source common sense? Because that development has been fraught with trouble. Vampire, it just really sucks. Wah, wah. Excellent. How's our Vampire Masquerade 2 is in development hell? Well, deeper hell. You know what? The philosophy I've taken on most games, especially when I'm interested in it, is it definitely will come out, you know... Eventually. And it's not like I don't have a bajillion other things to do in the meantime. So, that's fine. If it takes a while, that's fine.
It's just, you know, if you're really excited for it, it still sucks to have to wait.
It does, but that time always goes by faster than you think it does. Like, I would say pretty much without exception. Like,
tell that to us waiting for more Firefly. I'm just kidding.
More Firefly.
That's never gonna happen.
That horse is dead. What's up, Miranda? Are you still in my show? Anytime you want, Media Glitch. I'll Although it's good to see you, Jill. Heard you were streaming the other night, so glad you're doing that. But yeah, I haven't followed most of the video game stuff except for TBC, which, you know, I'm lukewarm on, honestly, as far as TBC. I'm mostly excited about retiring my character and running around the world and protecting lobies and picking herbs and all that stuff. It's like I'm just gonna super RP my character. And then beyond that, like, BC will get some playtime, but I cannot afford to devote the amount of time I devoted to Classic. And it's not why I came back. I didn't come back for BC. My druid will be happy to see BC, but my warrior just got crapped on that whole expansion. No, the TV show? Question mark? As a witch? Yes! Yes. Yes, I am. In fact, I have lines to memorize that I will be... Where the heck did this go? That I will be chanting. So I've got that in my email and working on the memorization of that as we speak. So yes, yes I am.
Are you having issues?
No. Oh my gosh. If Duke Nukem Forever would come out, anything is possible. Oh my gosh. Necromunda Hired Gun is released in Steam in 2 weeks. How do you guys all keep up with Steam games? It's so bananas to me. You seem to be having trouble with this. What's missing here? So his grog is bubbling, which means it has to go this way. So that means that it's from under his arm, which would be this way. Which doesn't feel like it fits there. Help me. Help me put this puzzle together.
Well, it's bubbling, but it's also pouring out.
Yeah, I mean, it could be leaning down, but it's his right arm, yeah?
Yeah, it should be the right arm.
Trying to make these pieces fit. Sorry. Don't mind me. Maybe I should just work on something different. This is not doing what I want. That could just be... What am I missing? We'll see. Okay, so I have black fatigues, green armor. What color should I paint for the straps on these guys' gear? Black fatigues, green armor. For the strapping? Well, leather straps are always brown in my mind, but you could also make them black, I guess. Tabletop games don't need downloadable updates. And older versions are still playable. This is true, but you also need to have physical space for all of that stuff. And I'm sure many of us know that it doesn't take up a little bit of space to have these games. In fact, that's the big problem I think wargamers have that overlapped with board gamers, where it's just boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff. It's just wargamers also have to buy additional boxes to put their assembled models in because the boxes that those models came in are no longer useful for that. It's way too many boxes. Awesome, we start filming next week, so I'm sure I'll see you on set. Alright, you take care, Jill. But yes, I'll see you soon. Exciting. Hola, I missed your battle reports. One of the best. Any plans to make more anytime? Alas, I do still have my Space Hulk battle that I still need to record the voiceover for. I've gotten so behind on all that. But yes, I've actually got like a few plans. I've purchased whiteboards in order to help try and organize them. My biggest and first struggle is literally hanging them. We're getting there.
That is the problem with that whiteboard plan. Is you had to
Actually,
add a whiteboard plan to all your plans.
I really do have too much on my plate. Like, this year has been brutal.
These last couple years.
Yeah, this last year has really kicked my butt, so getting there. Trying to, I feel like I'm in quicksand, you're trying to figure out that technique to roll out of it, but you can't be in a hurry, otherwise you sink again. So it's like, no, I've got to roll out of this. Why can't it go faster? So, boxception. There you go, Austin. Jeremy being nice. I'm pretty jazzed. Got to play Circle Ouroboros at Wits and won Best Painted. Oh, congratulations, Thomas. Now, it was against War Machine, so be honest. How much competition was there? So that was love, but also a massive amount of frustration. I forgot to ask if you bought the whiteboards. Yes, I bought 4 of them. 4 2x3 whiteboards. I'm like, I'm gonna freaking super plan this. I'm gonna look like, my office is gonna look like one of those prison cells, you know, where they've been writing everything on all the walls. Except organized into whiteboards. And literally, I got them, took them all out, and I'm like, I need to put these up. And then I've just been going to work and doing all my normal stuff, and then I'm like, I really need to put these whiteboards up. And I think I've had them 2 weeks now.
Something like that.
Yeah, I need to be better. So these are the struggles day to day over here. Titans coming soon, including BattleTech and War Machine. Nice. A darker green or gray maybe. Oh, gray's a good neutral color. Are you gonna wash it all at the end? Really ties it all together. Speaking of quicksand, what do we think of the new terrain rules? Remind me. New terrain rules were lackluster. By the way, your Space Hulk minis were just awesome. That compliment goes to that chick right there.
Me and Tommy, not just me. But
All trenches. Night Mac Attack, you take care. Really? All trenches? I don't know. I haven't followed any of the Steamroller stuff for a while. I got so tired of Steamroller games. It's like I really want to do scenario play, but then, you know, in order to do that, you're kind of creating a lot of board stuff, and doing everything by yourself sucks, and, you know, just bogged down. Quicksand. Alright. Help me out, guys. So, Kilt Lifter. Here's his base model. Little chunky man here. And then here's his, what I'm pretty sure is his right arm. Because, I can show it to you, that is his grog, his drink of choice, whatever that is. Focus. Yes, so that would be the top of it. And then he's got this like armored elbow, whatever. And I'm trying to get this to fit up here. And none of it feels like it's going right. It must wrap around here, but it
doesn't look right.
No, it doesn't look right at all. Everything is good. Yes. Why am I having trouble with this? I have just got home from work and have not had a chance to look at the SRCID. Well, and I'll look it up for you because we were already chatting about the slaughterhouse, so we've already gone over that. So we can look at the SR. Although, man, look at all these rules for the Requiem model. The artwork is really fun. It's a pretty slaughterhouse. Alright, RotoPress. SRCID.
Can I see the other pieces?
You may.
There's another piece.
There's his leg.
Okay.
And I saw they mentioned new terrain rules. I thought they'd bring hills before they brought craters in. It's the wrong direction. Alright, let's look at this. See what's going on here. Crater. A crater is treated as a trench template, except it is irregularly shaped, often circular, as one might think a crater would be. Should not be larger than 5 inches in diameter. Unlike trenches, craters cannot be placed in contact with other craters and must follow the normal rules for a restricted terrain. A crater is a restricted terrain feature. Technically speaking, you know, a crater could have multiple crater things, and especially if it was somehow not circular, because a crater, I don't know, whatever. Craters are designed to create an alternative to traditional trenches. When designing this, we wanted to create a restricted form of terrain that worked well on a devastated battlefield map. Which you think Ruins, I feel like Cover is kind of offering a lot of that already. I wasn't making him proud enough.
Correct.
His sword goes to the ground, so the tip is flat. Oh yeah, I haven't messed with the sword. I was just figuring out where the beer hand went.
So there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My red terror tyranny didn't go together so badly. Oh, it had to be abandoned. Yikes. I'm gone for 7 months and I can't make a miniature that fits without me. Here you go. Huh. So designed to be that, to work on a devastated battlefield map, you should see craters as a potential alternative to placing an awkward house onto a Badlands-themed table. If you have a piece of terrain consisting of small clustered craters, but the area of which is not significantly larger than an area of 5 inches in diameter, then you should consider the entire terrain piece to be one crater, which I agree with. I should simplify that. Okay, I guess we have that. Quicksand is a hazardous, rough terrain represented by 3 inches, 4 inches, or 5-inch AoE template. Models lose and cannot gain Pathfinder while in quicksand, because quicksand is awful. And models that become knocked down while within quicksand suffer 1 damage point. And it's a restricted terrain hazard as well. This new hazard offers a ton of interesting play experience. First and foremost, it's rough terrain that bypasses Pathfinder. And that's a pretty strange thing for terrain to do. Quicksand should be placed most often near the center of the table in order to actually become consequential. Consider placing it where it will block potential charge lanes around other terrain features or around objectives. Open grave is treated as a trench template, except it's smaller. It's a little 2-inch by 3-inch grave template. Oh, this is a nice sized grave for a model. This terrain feature is the most simple of the bunch. It's exclusively meant as a straight swap for a trench template. Currently 1 large base model, 1 medium, and 1 small base model, or 3 small base models can fit into one of these open graves. Fascinating. Now they need something that creates craters now. I mean, I know we're crossing, IPs here, but GW had plenty, like, bajillion crater terrain, like those little thin plastic terrain craters that you lay down. Wow, an hour gone already. I know. Just yapping on. There are not enough hours in a day, sir, and you're so right. Especially when you have to work full time. It makes it exceptionally challenging. Well, craters are exactly abstract constructs of devastations. Like a double, triple crater is possible. Yeah, I mean, that does make sense in the idea of having a battle-scarred battlefield. Especially when you have things that are mortar fire and essentially missiles. Tall grass is rough terrain that provides concealment to small and medium-based models completely within its perimeter. These terrain features should be approximately the same size as most forests. Tall grass is an unrestricted terrain feature. I dig it. Tall grass is meant to be an alternative to rubble that incentivizes small and medium-based models to move over large models. Currently, it doesn't exclude medium-based models for those armies that are comprised mostly of medium-based models, like Trollbloods and Blindwater Congregation. The terrain feature should be fairly large. So concealment, so that's the +2 defense. Alright. I think these new Earth rules are set up for casters with Earth spells. Ooh, we can see some new Trollkin roll-up. Maybe some Geomancers. Windstorm. Windstorm is open terrain and represented by a 3, 4, or 5-inch AoE template. When a model is completely within the perimeter of a windstorm, makes a ranged attack, or is targeted by a ranged attack, the attack suffers -3 range. So there's just like a little dust devil or something moving around. Windstorms are designed to give some reprieve to melee-focused armies. They should often be about 18 to 20 inches up the table for maximum effectiveness. Do note that 5-inch windstorm will be able to affect a huge base model. So if you are completely within the perimeter of it. See, that would be an interesting feature if it moves around, It's another thing to remember, but it's cooler. New objective rules. The following rules are replacing 2019 version of Armory, Stockpile, and Treasure Chest, Fuel Cache, Dugout, and Observatory. Fuel Cache, Dugout, and Observatory are slated to remain as is, so only Armory, Stockpile, and Treasure Chest are being replaced. As a quick aside, I should outline our intention for objectives in SR 2021. Objectives should be one of two categories: generalized but minimal benefit, and specific but slightly more powerful. The first category includes the fuel cache and wreckage, while the second includes the shrine, armory, dugout, and observatory. Okay, the first category is almost always useful, but doesn't specifically counter a power of your opponent's army. The second are designed to grant you something your army might be lacking when facing a specialized foe. Granted, making new and fresh rules isn't always easy. Sometimes you have to put out something and see what sticks. Learning this the hard way. Oh, I bet you are, Patty. Let's see, all objectives share these stats and tool rules. So, Steamroller, objective, construct, base size large, defense 5, armor 18, damage 15. Immobile, it does that sometimes. This model has no normal movement, and it's an objective, so it can't be placed, can't channel spells, can't be chosen as a prey target, blah, blah, blah. Armory, superior ammunition, so you gain magical weapons for a round. Slight redesign: instead of benefiting the next attack of a model, it benefits all attacks a model makes with a specific weapon. That allows more counterplay. Yeah, that's definitely a good improvement. Shrine, Ward of Protection, gains Aegis for 1 round, which makes you immune to continuous effects. Definitely nice. I can see that going up against Protectorate pretty well. Since Aegis makes you immune to continuous effects in general, rules like Meltdown will not affect it. Further, since gaining immunity to a continuous effect also removes that effect from the model in question, it's a good way to put out fire if you move up enough. Wreckage, Shelter, choose one friendly faction within war, 4 inches, and that model gains concealment. Not bad, all round, yeah. Yeah, that's good for high defense. New scenario rules. Okay, let's see what circles and rectangles we fight over now. Alright. Ah! Oh, yeah. Progress check, guys. Obviously, we're painting, too.
Sure.
So
Whatever you say.
So what have you done to him? Ooh, he looks freaky.
He's got a face.
He does have a face. I can see that now.
So, face, a little bit of his arm here, mostly back.
Along back. So what are you doing to get that effect on the back where there's all these different colors of pink?
So I've got 3 different paints that I'm working with right now that I'm mixing. I've got the Vallejo's green-brown.
Let me show it on the camera. Green, oh, that lovely puce color. How do you go wrong?
This one you actually cannot read anymore, but it's another Vallejo.
Hooray!
It's like a burgundy color. And then I've got the basic skin tone. And I just have those 3 colors that I'm mixing, different variances in the amount of paint I use from each color.
Okay.
Is what I'm using.
And
to get those flesh tones.
And so you're just doing darker tones deeper down where the lighter tones are.
So all of it's getting a little bit of green because he's kind of sickly.
Mm-hmm.
I add more of the burgundy for the deeper tones and a little bit more of the basic skin tone for all the lighter tones. But he's got a face now, so...
No, his face looks super cool.
I mean, I don't have that purple with me right now to get the purple eyes that I have on all the other ones that I did.
I have a purple. It's apple bear. It's cheap purple. It's mostly very inky, actually. Well, nice work,
I think that's the one I used. I think I used the same one that you used for the bases.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We have the same color.
That might be the color that I used for the eyes.
Well, I'll let you make it. Here it is. Saddest little paint bottle I've got.
The 411 full cart.
Oh, full cart. There you go. It's probably like 30 cents. I primed a metal warp wolf stalker and gave him a nice yellow highlight with white ink. White ink. Nice. Patty, I'm writing. Jeremy and I are doing 5 parsecs from home, and I need to finish those. I'm also trying to finish up mutants so I can discuss it next Wednesday. Goodness, you're staying busy. Paul, can't paint Gene Stealer's skin. No bother. Need a ton more practice doing human skin.
So I'm gonna use this paintbrush to do the eyes. It will not focus.
No, it really is fascinating with your paints. You gotta cover them up. And then you can...
Awkward angle.
I know. There you go. That'll focus. It should.
Maybe.
Once it stops looking at your hands.
At my hands. It likes my hands.
You gotta always fool webcams. That's the first
There we go.
Good brush. Good shot.
Woo!
Oops, can paint Gene Stealer. There you go. Wow, 1 purple. I think I probably have 7 or 8. No, I actually bought a second purple, and I bought it only to paint something for Paul, and then I haven't even used it since then. Alright, so we're talking about objectives. See you, objectives. Thanks for hanging out. So, shelter. No, new scenario rules. So there's a new King of the Hill, which there already was one. All 6 scenarios now include objectives as an intentional thing. Just the maps, brief statement, none of the baseline rules. Sure. Anarchy is being removed completely and being replaced by the scenario split decision. So I'm feeling a lot of repeats here. Bunkers 2021. Okay, that's a little bit different. Is that they removed the center flag. This was to remove the potential for explosive scoring in a single turn, which was the only thing anybody ever set up anyway. So, let me see if I can share this one window. So we can talk about the same thing a little bit. Does it even work that way? Let's see if it works that way. This is not helpful. That was the incorrect thing to open. I just need to do a window. Ho hum. Let's see, I signed up to follow Flo on Facebook as well. Aw, Alfonso the Trader's following you. He's good people. So what happened to the Cursed City, the box set from Age of Sigmar? I don't know, I heard about a little bit of drama on that, and then I remembered, oh yeah, this is just GW stuff, and then I wandered off. There you go. Paul knows what version of purple I got. It's been Scream City here since the baby twins got vaxxed today. Fallen off a hobby wagon. What should I do to get back on?
Put your stuff out. Like, don't just tell yourself that you're going to paint. Grab all your paints and the likes, put them out on the table, because then they are physically taking up space in your life. And you can either take the time to put them all away, or you can sit down and paint.
That's pretty good advice, actually.
I mean, that's what I have to do. That's the main thing, is if I put the stuff out and I have it right there ready to go, I'm a lot more likely to be like, hey, I have a free moment. I can go work on this for a bit.
Yeah, that's true. Just having it ready to go. Because preparation is usually a big discourager, I guess. I mean, putting up whiteboards. So, just having something started is probably a good place to start. Now, as far as what kind of model, I don't know, something you're comfortable painting so that you can, so you're not like overwhelming yourself with too much new. I remember seeing a channel, I showed you the video a while back about the idea of like willpower, and
Yes.
I tend to believe it's true. The idea that willpower is finite and you only have so much of it in a given day before you're taxed, which which means that you have to choose carefully how you are going to spend your energy throughout the day. And so if you have 5 or 6 tasks or something that you need to do, even to just get ready to start painting, then it's really, really discouraging. And by the time you get there, you don't even feel like doing it anymore. So, and then also starting earlier, or even doing like a little bit of something, like you said, like putting it out maybe the night before, so that the next day, like if you put it out Friday night and you don't work Saturday, then you can get up and do a little bit of working on it Saturday without having to do a bunch of like prep work to do it. And it's a little more inviting and you're motivated to do it.
It's not really easy to dedicate a space in particular for just hobbying, but if you can, that's a really good idea.
That's a luxury.
I mean, I have one. However, right now, it just got covered up with a bunch of paperwork. And that's why I haven't been working.
Yeah.
But if you have a specific place, like even a small corner or something that you can dedicate to just your hobbying items, that helps a lot.
Exactly. It's gone 10-minute lifespan, and whatever made it to an LGS. Nice. Patty, what streaming software do you use? I use OBS, because it's free.
I use OBS because she recommended it. I was like, hey, Miranda, you've done all this stuff before. What should I use?
No, I like OBS. It's regularly updated. It's well managed. It's not the most intuitive software in the world, but it's not bad at all. And then for if you do Twitch, then you can just get like Streamlabs, which has a ton of built-in functionality specifically for Twitch users of the world. So I found that all to be very
helpful.
Yeah, because there's software you can pay for sure. I mean, you can get like XSplit or something, but now you're paying for something which may or may not motivate you more. But you're not. I don't know that for what you're wanting to do, that you really need the extra functionality. XSplit can run more cameras, I believe, but you can get up to 3 cameras on OBS, and I have no need to run more than that. Let's see. Paul answering the Cursed City matter was a huge mess. It was advertised and confirmed as a range box that would be around for a long time. Then on the day of release, they said, no, it was limited. Another news? GW? What? Not being honest with their customer base. What's even happening? Let's see here. Cursed City ran into production problems. The models will be sold individually, and like models are being produced to make them into a proper army. So do you think like they legitimately ran into that, or they just didn't plan properly? Because I don't know that there's a model that GW doesn't put out, or Gamebox, or some set they put out that doesn't just sell out within like 4 seconds. Something unexpected definitely happened. That sucks. Also, I think willpower is more like a muscle. You can overwork it on a day, but you can also exercise it to have more of it in the future. You know, a big part of that. So yes, I generally agree. I don't think you have like you have a finite amount of willpower in a given day, but you can absolutely like develop yourself to have more of it. But I do think that's
finite
also
day to day.
Well, regularly overworking it. I mean, I believe that's a good descriptor of burnout. You just don't want to get on and mess with something again. You get an aversion. So there's that. But a lot of it's probably organizational, which is like the big life lesson I still need to get a handle on. Let's see. Pick something on audio to accompany your painting, like H.P. Lovecraft on Horror Babble. Awesome. Is that a thing, really? You heard of it? Horror Babble?
No, but just listening to H.P. Lovecraft while painting.
Sounds like a fascinating time.
I mean, I've been listening to World War Z again.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, a lot of the ebooks are always fun. Although, I guess while painting I can. It's just I'm rarely able to just focus on one thing, I guess. I downloaded OBS. I think I'll be working my overlays tonight after the stream. Finally used my Surface to create digital art. Nice. Stream Elements has some pretty cool things that you can add to. If you're planning to actually do live streaming or anything through OBS, then I'd recommend getting some kind of software that has auto moderation, because we all have awesome friends who will help mod your chat, but something to sort of catch the obvious spammers is nice too, so you're not overworking your friends. Todd, did you see that Kislev is going to be in Total Warhammer 3? No. For Cursed City, Brexit caused some major hiccups in importing across European country lines. Did it? I mean, it's been years now. I mean, how's that not problem solved? I imagine the timing for Cursed City was hit by that. And the last thing? Alright, well, turns out that's how he goes on. Think about it. Here, look at this bunch of metal.
You're welcome.
Not my favorite.
It doesn't fit the best.
I'm not in love with it. I feel like that's very gappy. Ho-hum. Listen to the Sega Mega Drive Genesis soundtracks while painting. I have so many soundtracks from the old N64 days, because they had great games. And I also got some for, I think PS2? I think PS2 when it came out, there were some really cool games. Like, obviously I had my Ocarina of Time soundtrack. Totally
of course.
But I had like the Perfect Dark soundtrack. I had the Metal Gear Solid soundtracks, the Silent Hill soundtracks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, such pretty music. It's like, I used to go to sleep to a lot of that.
Might explain a little bit about how she is now.
Amazing. You're welcome.
I never said it was bad. Come on now, between the two of us, you know that I do more horror than you do.
Oh yeah, no, you definitely do more horror. So we're gonna see Sleepaway Camp this weekend, I think. Will be the official how we're gonna hang out.
That is the goal.
Hang out. Finish that. Here's his other arm going on. I just now glued it, so it's like barely attached. I don't know. Whatever. This is what photos later are for.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. It's so bright. That classic PS2. I said N64 as well. On another note, Weird Miniatures is still producing episodes of their Tales of Malifaux podcast on YouTube. Pretty fun listen. It was like the weird guys. I felt like their model line dealt with a lot of confusion in its theme, but like the world of Malifaux is really charming and interesting and unique, and so I hope they get to keep going with that.
Seems like it's been really picking up again since they came out with the 3rd edition, though.
Well, I know the 3rd edition apparently cleaned up a lot of rules bloat, I guess, for lack of a word for it.
I have not picked it up again yet. I mean, I picked up the rulebook and stuff, but I haven't really worked on it. Got other things on my mind.
There's just so much to get to. Alright, so Mr. Kilt Lifter here is mostly assembled.
Mostly.
Kilt Lifter McBain! Yep, there he is. He's got his leg on. And it bugs me too, because there's gapping there. What's going on with all this? And they're not pieces where it's like you can just shave off a little bit of flashing or something. Like they're nubs and crevices and whatever that you can go into. And so they're shaped that way and they don't seem to be fitting right. So not my favorite assembly ever. He's and of course all mini crates are white metal, so he's pretty top heavy here with his big proud fluffy cape. Got 10 more minutes, Flo. Kind of coming along. He's pretty much done, right?
Like I said, you'd never be able to tell them faster at it than you.
Best soundtrack ever. Conan the Barbarian. Second, Aliens, also known as Aliens. Third, Last of the Mohicans. Oh no, second choice is Aliens. Yeah, Last of the Mohicans is a brilliant soundtrack. Freaking love that. Although last night I was watching the making of stuff for Gladiator, and the soundtrack to that freaking, like, Hans Zimmer is brilliant.
Yes, he is.
So Gladiator is amazing. Amazing soundtrack. It's looking pretty. Well,
Fleshy.
gross.
Pretty fleshy.
Gross.
I mean, what do you know?
So yeah, definitely Last of the Mohicans. Conan the Barbarian. I don't necessarily remember the music from it as much. Aliens is very thrilling and exciting. As a kid, I had the Jurassic Park soundtrack. And I loved
John
listening
Williams.
To that. Yeah.
I just have a Spotify playlist with a ton of soundtracks on it.
Soundtrack music is the best. It's motivated music. I always found that really interesting.
It's so much fun to paint too.
It also gave me an unreasonable expectation of what classical music should sound like. Because when I'd listen to the classical station, because I would think I was being like, you know, all proper and whatever to listen to classical music.
So
I always felt just
that's how far
meandering.
I got, you know.
Couldn't tell you how much I hated a minuet. Model looking great. Positive feedback.
Yay!
My copy of Shadow Man also came with the soundtrack. What? Finally! They made a soundtrack for Shadow Man 2, but it's not nearly as good as the soundtrack for Shadow Man 1. I could never find that. Do you use rapid cure on your super glue to accelerate the assembly of your models? I do not. Neither of us, yeah. I'm just literally using some super glue gel. Hold on there for 30 seconds.
I definitely like the gel a lot better.
Well, the gel doesn't move around as much, right? And as long as you've cleaned your model, you generally are not going to have issues with adherence either. So, I mean, he's done. You know, he shouldn't fall apart at this point.
Shouldn't.
Asterisk. So, I found the super glue gel to work the best for me. It's been very consistent. Occasionally I have issues with a piece not sticking, but
I'm the
ThePainterFlo.
ThePainterFlo.
Yes, just the painter and then FLO. I'm struggling to find you.
I'm right here.
Do you believe in aliens or the possibility of them? Well,
yeah.
Sam, I'm glad you asked, because this week, the last couple of days, I've become very fascinated at all the UFO footage that's been coming out. And yes, I wholeheartedly buy into it. There you go, ThePainterFlo. Thank you, Paul. I have the heavy metal vinyl. Just busted it out recently for the kids to jam to as well. Nice. It's so nice when they're so young that you can just sort of tell them what to like before they start developing their own taste that you hate.
God, I wish I could do that with other people's kids.
Just be a good influence. That's all you've got going on. That's all you can do.
I try. Man, that kid used to love Coraline, and then her dad was like, that's what gives you nightmares, you know. And now she hates it. She's like, it's too scary for me. I'm like, you've been watching this since you were 2 years old.
Yeah, I know. I love his hat and gear. Yes. It's pretty cool. So he just needs to get glued to his face. Which is funny, like this tiny little 30mm brace it goes to go on. He's just gonna be just freaking... Like, he barely fits on his base. Look at that. The top half of him is bigger than his whole base. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. However, I will... Okay, so perfectly without, score points for the model here. I just assembled it blind without matching it to fit, like pre-fit him on the base to make sure he was going to fit on there. And that all lines up perfect. So at least like that was done quite well. So just to not be so negative about it.
Negative Nelly.
Negative. Alright, so he'll go on the base and then it's basically calling it a night because we're probably done at this point. I hope this wasn't too terribly boring a stream for you guys. I just have been enjoying apparently having no direction for my actual hobbying tonight. But I was also really excited because Flo was able to come over.
And I have direction.
And she has direction. She knows what she's doing.
What was it I did when I walked in? I was like, yeah, I worked on this thing for you forever ago. Let's work on that.
Yeah, she knows. She knows what's going on. Oh, just looking at the other SR rules. Spread the Net 2021. Unlike Bunker, Spread the Net gained two new scoring elements. This was done primarily to have objectives in every single scenario. However, this does mean that there are no more significant potential to score 4 or 5 points on a single turn. Oh, that there is more. Yeah. Split Decision. Replacing Anarchy is Split Decision. This scenario will have a similar feel to its predecessor, but will also have one less scoring element. In this scenario, it is intentional that the objectives are contesting the flags. Right. That is the current Steamroller 2021 packet. And it's subject to change, which is fair. So there we go. We're now all up to date on Steamroller. He needs a bar stool and a bar behind him. Pretty much.
He needs the bar wench on his knee.
I got distracted and didn't hold him down.
For shame.
For shame for me. I broke the seal. Now that's the one thing you don't want to do. Super glue is break the seal. Glad I got to hang out, however briefly. Yeah, always appreciate when you guys hang out. I'm still working on a bunch of stuff that I really hope to get together for you guys. I promise you the desire is there. I just keep running out of time in a day. I'm being really tired. But I think that's a little bit easier. Again, as of Tuesday, as of yesterday, I finally got one stressor out of my life, so theoretically, that means I can replace it with more fun, positive things. So yeah, I guess we'll probably call it here. Do you want to do one last show off of the model?
Sure.
Or are you just finishing off something, or what?
I was mostly painting the chest, so it's not going to be super obvious, but let's do it anyway. Do-do-do. Come on, you can do it.
Here, I'll be the background, and you can put them on. Oh no, that works great.
Tilt him up.
We can make that a little bit brighter, maybe.
No, it washes him out.
Has it? Oh. But I love his face so much. I'm gonna rotate that through. Yeah, there you go.
As
It reminds me of the main bad guy in the Shadow Temple of Ocarina of Time. That's that freaky, distended skull face. Alright, hey, another quick question before we break. Do you use a regular webcam for the extra cam view? I do. I don't necessarily recommend them. It's just sort of what I have on hand. So I use 2 webcams on this stream. If you have access to getting like a normal recording camera, especially if you want to show off details in the model, you're probably going to get a better color grade for it, and you can control the focus a lot easier. Good progress, Flo.
What? Thank you.
Yeah. Alright. Well, we are off. I'm gonna go find some food. And thank you guys again for hanging out. I super appreciate it. And then as Flo gets on to doing more of her Twitch stuff, I will make sure to let you all know about it as well. And maybe I can guest star on your stuff.
That'd be fun.
Alright, we'll see you later. Say bye, Flo.
Bye.